Hi, I'm Jorj Morgan. Today we're going to talk about chicken, specifically chicken breasts, which probably are the most boring thing in the world to most people because they have no flavor. But that's an opportunity for us to create something flavorful, and so we're going to do that today. We're going to talk about chicken breasts, how to prepare them, and we're going to cook them 3 different ways. One little breast, 3 different ways. Well, lots of breasts, 3 different ways. So I have 2 breasts right here, and I put them on my work surface, my board, and I've put plastic wrap down below and plastic wrap on top, and I am going to pound the bejesus out of them because chicken will taste tender if you pound it. There's 2 sides to a meat mallet. This one perforates the chicken a little bit, and you don't want to do that because it's going to dry it out. We want to use the flat end, and we want to pound. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about pounding the chicken. Maybe you had a bad day at work. Maybe you don't want to yell at your dog. Maybe your hubby doesn't know what you've been through all day. Maybe your show was canceled on TV. Maybe your subscription to Netflix needs renewed. Whatever the moment leads you, whatever the motivation, pound that chicken, baby, because it'll make something really good. So these are pretty well pounded, and I feel so much better emotionally. So now we have these pounded chicken breasts, and we're going to season them with salt and pepper, both sides. So watch this. I'm going to do the seasoning with one hand. Salt and pepper, and I'm going to flip with the other hand. We don't have any contamination into the seasonings. I say, as if it's easy. And then we season with salt and pepper again. And we are ready to go. So we've seasoned the chicken with salt and pepper. And these are just breadcrumbs. I'm gonna add a little garlic powder and onion powder to the breadcrumbs, just to give it a little more flavor, because remember that our chicken's pretty bland. And there's lots of ways you can bread chicken, and I'm gonna show you a couple ways today. But for this recipe, all we're really gonna do is just lay the chicken into the breadcrumbs and push it down. That's all we're gonna do. And lay the chicken into the breadcrumbs. And lay down. That's it. So I put the chicken in the breadcrumbs and just press them on. That's really all we're gonna do. I'm gonna take some olive oil and put it into my pan. Notice I have a nice size pan here because once you pound those chicken breasts, they are really big, really big. So we're gonna put a lot of olive oil in there. And we've got it on about medium heat. Let that oil get a little warm. And the reason we're using the whole breast this time and not like cutting it into a cutlet is because we're gonna cook it and then bake it to finish the cooking. So I'm gonna prepare my pan because it's chicken pepperoni. There's a little bit of red sauce, a little bit of pepperoni, a little bit of cheese that's going on to this cutlet. So we're gonna prepare the pan by putting some sauce down. Now I made a homemade pizza sauce with just, tomatoes and olive oil and a little sugar, a little oregano, but you can totally use a jarred sauce to do this. So come with me, and I'm gonna show you how we make the chicken breasts. I'm gonna simply put them into the hot oil. You start to hear a little sizzle. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. And we're just basically gonna brown the chicken breast on both sides. There, that's a nice golden color there. And getting a nice golden color there. And that's really all we want. This one in the pan with the sauce on the bottom. And into the pan we go. And now, come over here with me, and we'll see how we finish it. We're just gonna take some pepperonis, and you can use the turkey pepperoni, regular pepperoni, what other kind of pepperoni you like. I like this kind of pepperoni. It's kind of like a pizza with the chicken crust. I mean, you can think of it like that. And then we're gonna put the sauce on the top. Pour that sauce on there. And then we're gonna cover that with mozzarella cheese. Yum. More cheese the merrier. I preheated my oven to 375 degrees and we're gonna stick it in there for about 20 minutes. All we wanna do is let the chicken cook through and the cheese to melt a little bit on the top. So to the oven we go. And here we have chicken pepperoni. The cheese is melted, the chicken is cooked through. It's exactly what we want to see. I want to show you, see the chicken is cooked all the way through. It's nice, it's a nice juicy piece of chicken inside because the sauce keeps all the juices in. We've pounded it nice and thin, we've cooked it at the same time. So it's very tender. And it's really good. So now I'm going to show you what to do with a chicken breast that involves some pounding, but not quite as dramatically as we've done in the past. This is a very big chicken breast. So to make it a chicken cutlet, we're going to cut it in half and open it like a book. So I usually start at the really thick half, put my knife in there, and then put my hand on top of it and then slice through, keeping your knife parallel to your board. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. Now you have two thinner pieces of chicken. We'll take a piece of plastic and put that over top. Cover it. I don't want chicken all over the house. And then we'll gently pound it. We don't have to pound quite as vigorously this time because it's thinner. Again, using the flat side. And again, the purpose of this is just getting it all to the same size. Some of this is a little thicker than the other parts. Okay, we're gonna flip this over. Gentle pounding. And we're ready to go. So I have some breadcrumbs here. I'm sorry, some flour here. And I have 2 eggs and a little milk. So we're just gonna break the eggs and mix it with the milk. You can use a whisk, you can do it in a bowl. I like to use pie pans for this because it's just easier. These breasts are so big that it's easier to fit them in here. Okay, we're going to season our chicken. You can season the breadcrumbs, but I just like, or I mean the flour rather, but I like seasoning the chicken right off. It's easier. Ready to go. So basically we take the chicken, put it in the flour, press down, put it on the other side in the flour, then you shake it off, get the excess off, and then you put it in the egg, put it on the other side in the egg, and then we're going to walk over to the pan, come with me, and put it right in. There she goes. And now we'll repeat. Chicken breast, dredge it in the flour. The flour just basically holds on the egg. That's basically what you're doing. And egg wash, over to the pan, and boom. There we go. Rinse my hands really quickly. Look how golden that is. It's a little different than the last chicken we made because of the coating. Okay, our chicken is looking good. So we're going to transfer this chicken to a plate, which I'm going to go get right here. And it's going to sit here while we make the sauce. Just make sure that it's golden on the other side. And it is perfection. Oh, dog likes it. This one's a little bigger, but it's okay because, as I said, they're going to cook in the sauce. Beautiful though. I mean, that's good to go right now. That is a good to go dish. But we're going to do a little more. We're going to add some butter to the pan. And I'm going to move it off this heat a little bit. We don't want to get too brown, although brown is fine. Turn down my heat. And now we're going to put some lemon slices in here. There is something to say about chicken and lemon. It does kind of go together. And now we're going to just sprinkle a little flour over top. That's going to be the thickener for the sauce. One of the first articles I ever wrote for my blog when I started it in 2001 was answering questions from busy moms that they had, like questions that they wanted answered. And the very first question, the one that they wanted to know first was, how do you make gravy or sauce without lumps? Because flour does sometimes make lumps. Next, we're going to add some wine. This is a Sauvignon Blanc. And that's going to cook down. The wine will reduce, the alcohol will evaporate, but you can see it's already getting nice and sticky. And then we're going to add some chicken stock. You can use any kind of wine you want. You can use Chardonnay, you can use sherry, you can use any kind of white wine, I would think, with this dish, with the chicken. I don't use Chardonnay because I'm going to drink my Chardonnay and I don't really like Sauvignon Blanc, so I put it in the cooking. But you can do Chardonnay. So nice, see how nice this sauce is getting now? Nice and lemony and winey and really good. Now I'm going to turn the heat up a tad and add more butter. It's a butter sauce, so we're going to add some more butter. The butter's going to melt. It's going to make it really rich. Really rich. Now, the more butter you add, the better the sauce. Salt and pepper. And this is where the chicken goes back. It's just going to swim around in this sauce for a while. You can use a little ladle, kind of baste the chicken in it, in the sauce, while it cooks. Now you're only going to need a couple minutes here. If you're making this dish for your kids and you don't want to use wine, you don't have to use wine. It's fine, just more chicken stock, that works fine. You really can't taste the wine. You get the oomphness of the wine. You don't really get a winey taste. If you did, I guarantee you I'd be using the Chardonnay because I like the taste of Chardonnay and I don't like the taste of Sauvignon Blanc. Since I'm just getting the oomphiness of it, it works for me. Oh, does not look fabulous. And we'll garnish with a couple of lemons. And get a little bit of the sauce. And we'll drizzle that sauce right around the plate. And garnish with some fresh parsley leaves. And there you have it. And in not too much time, delicious chicken française. Let me cut it into it. Perfect. Well done. Perfect on the inside, nice and juicy. Let's taste it. Oh, you're gonna love it. Chicken thing number 2. Chicken thing 3. We're gonna make chicken Milanese. I don't know if that's how you really say it, but that sounds good, doesn't it? Basically, we're gonna take the chicken, we're gonna make it into a cutlet again, and we're gonna bread it, cook it in the pan this time. We're not gonna bake it or cook it in the sauce, and then we're gonna top it with a really fresh vegetable salad. So, we're gonna start by cutting it. And we learned this last time. Start at the fat end, put your knife in there, and then, oh, dog likes it. And then bring your knife all the way through to form 2 pieces. Yay, this one's a little skinnier than this one. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you got a hubby piece, sometimes you got a wife piece. It works. Now we're gonna season it with salt and pepper. Always making sure I rinse my hands when we're dealing with raw chicken. It is a thing. So we're gonna season it. Salt, pepper, more pepper. Gotta rinse for the salt. And salt. So now I'm going to teach you a little trick about breading. We've breaded it a couple ways so far today. This is my favorite way to do it. It's just something I've always done, and it adds flavor to the chicken. I brush it with mustard. Any kind of mustard, yellow mustard, this is Bourbon mustard, or rather Dijon mustard, any kind. You just brush the chicken with mustard. Now this is going to hold on to breadcrumbs. And then we're gonna put another piece of plastic on it and pound that mustard into the chicken. I'm checking my pan back here because I'm heating some olive oil and butter together. Nothing better than olive oil and butter. Okay, so we're gonna take our meat mallet, flat side, pound. I got a little piece here, so that's not gonna take so much. But with Milanese, with this particular dish, you really want a thin piece of chicken. So we'll take off the plastic and brush the second side with mustard. Nice. The mustard's gonna give it a really good taste. So what I have here are breadcrumbs. These are some crumbs that I've made. It's some already seasoned breadcrumbs that I've had. That I put in a pie pan, and then these are some that I have, you know, sometimes when I have leftover bread, I just put it in the food processor, grind it up, and save it for breadcrumbs. Sometimes I toast it, sometimes I season it, but it's all good. I like fresh breadcrumbs, but you know, any breadcrumb in the pinch works. So I'm gonna turn the heat up on my pan, and make sure that my butter and olive oil are getting nice and hot, which they are. I want the pan a little hotter this time because we want a nice little cook on this. So we have our mustardy chicken breast and we lay it in these breadcrumbs. And we're just gonna push them in there. Chicken's already seasoned. I have not seasoned the breadcrumbs. Okay, and then we're gonna go right to our pan. Over here. And in we go. Yes, yes, yes. So on top of our chicken Milanese, we're gonna put a fresh salad. Normally they just put, in a restaurant if you ordered like a chicken Milanese or a veal Milanese, it would be like a veal Milanese would be like a veal chop that they pound really thin and then they top with a fresh green salad. So that's what we got the idea for this. So we're gonna start with a little bit of arugula. And tear the leaves a little bit. And then I'm gonna add a few shallots. I've just sliced them very thin. And then I took some fennel. I had a fennel ball and I just put it through my slicer, my food processor. And so I got, well, you can see this would be like the middle of the fennel bulb right here. And these are the little strings, so I'm just gonna add some of these strings in there. Yes, perfect. Then to add to this, I made some zucchini noodles. I just simply took a zucchini and shaved down the sides of it. And we're just gonna add a couple of zucchini noodles. They're real nice and thin. You can cut them in half, you can tear them, whatever you want. We're gonna dress it simply. I'm not gonna bury it in dressing. I'm gonna start with, this is a blood orange. You can use a normal orange, you can use a Meyer lemon, you can use a lemon, whatever you want. You want just a little acid on here, but a blood orange is, it's got a unique color, a unique taste. It's a little sweeter, I think, than an orange, but it's perfect for the salad. Since the arugula is pretty bitter and the fennel is pretty strong, just a little bit of this is gonna work. So we're gonna put a little bit of the blood orange juice on here. You know, it's squirting everything. Blood. You can see the color in there? A little different than an orange. See, got it. Pull it up in there. And then we're gonna put a little salt and pepper. I think our chicken's ready. Yes, perfect. Our little bitty piece of chicken. Put it right here. And we finish dressing the salad just with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and just a tad of olive oil. And then simply grab a little mound of salad and stick it on your chicken. Make sure you put a little zucchini noodle there on the top. And there you have it. Chicken Milanese with a fresh salad of arugula, fennel, shallot, and zucchini noodle. Really good. Okay, so this chicken segment wasn't so boring after all, was it? I hope you like it, I hope you try it, and come see me again next time. See ya.